And hopefully we're live. Let me see if I can get this chat going. Chat overlay so people can see what others are saying. And welcome. What's up? Okay, Neo, let's go. Welcome. Time to relax and focus, says Tesla and Neo. Typically go hand in hand when they move. Yeah, there's a lot happening. Did you see Tesla down, Neo up? Look, I've got some thoughts. We'll get into them as the stream goes on. It is wild. And my guy, Bam, JG Savoldi, with lots of experience. I'm going to look up his tweet. I'm pretty sure he tweeted this, so I can share it as long as he tweeted it publicly. Um, Kevin says the sooner the better for the market. Yeah, as far as the market tanking, yeah, agreed. We need to go ahead and bottom out at some point. Corey, what's up? Says let's go. You darn right. It's fun. Where's Neo? Have we traded over 120 million shares yet today? That's kind of fun, right? I know we were over 100 million the last time I looked, and that's the kind of uptick that I want to see with the trade volume. What I'll be watching for, so that we can see if it's an established new trend, is whether or not that continues into next week and then beyond. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Frank, what's up? Hello, everyone. Neo's flying today. Yeah, it's good price action yesterday and today for sure. But again, I'm watching that trade volume. I want to see what happens if we can get a new trend established, if big money is going to be heading back over to China and getting into Chinese stocks or not. And at the same time, we got the backdrop of the US market, which could crash or drop further. So let's see what happens. Daniel, what's up? Welcome. And let's see. Corey says, yeah, Tesla down, Neo up, Xiaoping underperformed Neo on the day. All makes sense in the world. That's funny. Kevin says, Daniel, more cheap Chinese food. Oh, that's funny. The English window cleaner in Cali says, hi, mate, 15% up. Nice. 17% down Monday. Just kidding. You lost weight. No, I'm a hard gainer. Anyway, depending on what I wear, it's a lot of stuff looks very baggy and big on me because I'm about 6 feet and I'm about 160 pounds right now. So I've always been lean like that basketball player. So what's up, Mara? Welcome. Emiliano, what's up? Hi, Neil family. I wanted to add under 10 today. Yeah, I know some people are saying, oh, we won't see the single digits again. I've never say never. I don't trust the overall market, but I also don't know. And that's what I'm watching. It's one of the things I'm going to keep an eye on from today on with the trade volume and the trend for Neo is if the stock market overall in the US tanks and Neo maintains and or goes up, especially with bigger trade volume, I'll take that as a positive that maybe big money is deciding to go long or reposition or move funds over into China. Brendan Aarons had a really good, I think I retweeted it. I quote tweeted it with Neo. And by the way, I'm trying to do a lot more of that stuff, the tweeting and the liking and stuff on Twitter. So if you're not following me there, I'm trying to sort of, they're breadcrumbs all the time. I stay in the research mode. As my buddy Seth knows, poor guy, I'm Friday night, Saturday night, doesn't matter. I'll send him a random text with some link or some, research tidbit. But what I want to do with Twitter a little bit more now is sort of like things, tweet them, retweet them, whatever, because Seth said, if I don't have time to research what's going on, I'll just look at whatever you've been liking and following on Twitter. And that kind of catches me up. And I was like, oh man, that's pretty smart. Actually, I like that. So now I'm more aware of it and I'll try and do a better job of sharing more of that. But anyway, Brendan was talking about how 401k is kind of a new thing in China for certain folks who are now able to invest. That seems bullish to me, right? If they can now invest in things like NIO, and maybe they couldn't before, maybe they have more access this way, things like that. Of course, NIO traded not just on the US market, but also over in Hong Kong and in Singapore. Shout out Singapore, if anybody's here from there. All right, what did I miss? Let's see. Yeah, earnings coming out next week. I'm planning on doing a live. I haven't even looked at what, is it the 8th? Is it the same day we have midterms in the US? Ooh, what a wild day that could be. Yeah, I'm planning on doing a live of that. It'll probably be in the morning. Um, and I'm sure some other, I bet Marcel will do it. I wouldn't be surprised if Felix does it. I think Felix does a lot of lives, I think. And Marcel, I think, typically tries to do it. In fact, if it's earlier, like in the morning for me, he may be on. Sometimes I'll see him before I even get on to mine, and I'll get to see what he's talking about. I want to look at the chart for NIO right quick. So bear with me as I take a peek. What do I have here? How about the 5 day? Okay. Yeah. 1149 is where we're looking right now. And so I'm going to look for one thing here before I share it. I'm pretty sure that he put it on. And I'm talking about JG Savoldi, the guy who has BAM Investor. I follow him. I'm actually a subscriber of his and have been for over a year. I'm looking for a certain tweet that I think he put out there. I want to tell you what he's. Yep, here you go. Here it is. Um, this is from 3 hours ago. He says, reiterating most important wheels off tickers I'm monitoring into next week. Meta, Para, USDSEK. And then he's got the New York Stock Exchange new 52-week high-low differential index. And then there are no black swans, only lazy analysts or biased technicians. ES Fute's fast market retest 3336 is the target, which indicates things could drop more, and they could drop at any point. So I want to share that because, again, that's sort of like he has correctly called the trend and what we've seen with the market overall. And so I try to stick with and he's called a lot more, and there's a lot more stuff, but because I'm a paying member on his thing, I'm not going to talk about the stuff that he shares there. If he tweets something, I'll retweet it or I'll reference it or whatever, because he then puts it out publicly. So then I feel like he's making that known to be shared. What else do we have here? I'm going to catch back up on comments. Douglas says someone put some chlorine in the dark pool. Yeah, I'm so curious because remember, we still, even if we get, especially if we get a wider market drop here in the US, we still have not seen the VIX or the UVXY really spike. I feel like that needs to happen before the market is going to, indicate that it's bottomed. So in the meantime, do we see money flow back into Chinese stocks? Is that maybe, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but let's see if with the PCAOB news, supposedly they're already done with inspections, and shocker, what do you know? The delisting was always non-news. Huh. Who would have thunk it? But let's wait and see. In fact, I haven't been on there. Let me pull up their website and check it right now. Why wouldn't I nerd out live on stream? That's what I do. PCAOBUS.org news. Yeah, this is still the old news. Let's go to home, see if they've got anything new. If they aren't back in country, I don't know if they will have November 3rd. PCAOB sanctions firm and partner for violating PCAOB rules. Blah, 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 blah. Sanctioning Hall and Company violations. But that's not China. It's not China. I doubt they've got anything posted yet. I just wanted to look and see if they had announced. I doubt that they will post until they get back to the States. And then when they're ready, they'll post the results or, the confirmation. But again, in the meantime, as far as an indicator goes, if big money is aware of it and knows behind the scenes, they might be wanting to buy and get their positions in Chinese companies, knowing that that's going to later be a positive catalyst. And then later, of course, they'll start telling us to FOMO and after them, right? That's kind of how it works. No financial advice ever from me, by the way. Y'all know that, I think. But yeah, let's see what else. I got to get back to this, the chat here. Time to relax and focus is hopefully November is the turnaround. Yeah, I decided I'm not going to call and predict any number of deliveries for November. I'm just going to call for new record. That's my prediction. And we'll let NIO just do what they're going to do. Corey says China is going to be the first out of this recession. We'll pull the world out of recession with a head start to the moon. Laugh out loud. I actually think you're really accurate with that. I think that the U.S. we got a lot of issues, and we're so divided and so focused on sort of tearing ourselves and others down. Sadly, that's really slowing our growth and our potential to continue to dominate. And so, in the meantime, China's really well positioned, provided they handle these lockdowns. And that's one of the things I'm watching, especially. And I didn't like this one on Twitter, but I'm watching it because it could take months. It could be a slow transition and progression for them out of the lockdowns. But I will say I made a point of looking up. It looked like Thailand and Japan and the Philippines have all within the last month eased their restrictions on tourism and people coming back in country tourism, welcoming people back, it really lifting a lot of restrictions. And so that's consistent with the idea that China would also, the region would kind of open together. That makes sense. I also would expect China to be a little more cautious and take a little more time on it. So, sort of weighing all that, at the same time, we're kind of hearing about this PCAOB news, could be positive, delisting off the table pretty soon, possibly. It sets up, especially with the money flow and such a suspect stock market here in the US and all of the beat down on prices for the Chinese stocks. It'll be really interesting if we don't see some money flow over there. So I'm kind of expecting it. I don't know what time frame is, but that's why I'm watching, and we'll be watching from this point on. If we keep seeing big trade volume, that's short-term price action is determined by whatever the big money's doing, right? So what's the big money doing? Well, the more trade volume we see, the more of an indicator that is the big money's moving in a direction. So if the trend remains up and we see it going up, then we'll see. Daniel says, nevertheless, Spud will have a 6-footer under. Actually, fun fact, I dunked at 16 for the first time. So, but I haven't tried lately, at least not on 10. So I'd probably hurt myself trying. Got to get my hops back before I try that. And Daniel says, baby steps. You're darn right. Baby steps to greatness. Time to relax, focus. 8th could be a big day. Then, yeah, I'm absolutely. And I'd said it in my video a couple weeks ago, talking about the SPY and NIO and the markets overall, and saying, let's see what happens with the earnings of the big companies, but also let's see and watch through the midterms to see if we don't get either a political pump or some kind of a further crash. It's like this has been like a controlled crash, is what I feel like with the market. King Pop, what's up? Says should be Thursday, the 11/10. Oh, is it a different day? Well, that's actually better, I think. That way we can get to see different things happening different days and see how everything is sort of shaking out from there. And we should get first week registrations around then or a day or two later. You're on it, King Pop. Corey says, in order for Chinese to buy NIO needs to be a special exchange exception that allows Chinese to buy and hold Hong Kong securities. I forget what it's called. Xpeng is on it somehow, not NIO. I think I know what you're talking about. And my reference to Brendan Aarons and his tweet was with regard to retirements and the way that they can invest through those. It's something new that they haven't been able to do before. So I'll have to look back at it. But you can also check it out. I believe I quote tweeted it. So if you follow me on Twitter, you can check it out. Afiki, what's up? Netherlands in the house. Time to relax, as I heard they completed round 1 of audits. I believe that's the case. I won't be surprised, expecting it to be a nothing burger. It was a lot of fear mongering that sure worked to push money around, right? Especially a lot of retail money. Frank says, and TY Meta, I don't paste traductions. And I'm sorry, I don't understand. Somebody could translate, let me know. Frank says, where do you see NIO after earnings? No clue. No clue. I'll be watching, as I said, trade volume and trend to see if we have a new trend starting. I think we'll see it before the earnings, especially if, as King Pop says, it's going to be like the 10th. So if the trend is that direction, we could retake some lost ground quickly with NIO. But I mean, we've seen it run before. But this is also the backdrop of this really weak market, suspect market. At the same time, if shorts get caught and burned up, obviously it could really take off then. So that's why I don't even want to try and predict. There's too much going on. I can't track it all. I'm trying, but I can't. Englishman, or English window cleaner Callie says, if you won the lottery tonight for 1.7 billion, what would you put into NIO? Well, I would only get to keep about a bill, right? Because the taxes that get paid on that would be, don't they take about, yeah, hefty portion of it. But I would, wow, I don't know, because that's more than I was planning to have on NIO. So like available for NIO. What would be fun is to take a signet like a massive type position, similar to I think Original Wash Limited, which is William Lee's company, has the um, biggest interest. But I would love to have a similar interest if I had the access and could make a move like that at an early stage. That would sure be a kind of a power play because then I could actually have enough of an interest that maybe I could have dialogue with him and stuff like that, and that would be fun. But I don't know, I'd have to be in that situation to decide, and also it would depend on what kind of potential move I could make with that. Um, That'd be fun. It's fun to think about that though. Time to relax and focus says, yeah, we do have a lot of big things potentially happening, and again, look, there's the news and the hype and all that sort of thing, but again, for me, I try to stay mired in big money. Short term is moving things, and so is this going to be sustained or not? It's a lot of trade volume today, and we've seen it a couple times where we've had some moves up, and I don't know if it was just shorts covering or whatever, at those different points, but we have to see if it's going to be sustained and a new trend. Chad Billy says Twitter is going to be a digital platform for Bitcoin. What about Doge? I mean, Elon's involved, right? So won't he find a way to loop it all together? Jason says NIO is heading to the IPO price and then may relaunch from there. Hopefully bankruptcy doesn't happen before. I'm not sure how bankruptcy with over 8 billion on the balance sheet for the last year would happen, but I do know some people keep talking about it for some reason. I guess they don't realize that NIO has been able to do massive expansion while maintaining over 8 billion. And frankly, especially for a not yet profitable company, what they have on the balance sheet is really important for companies right now because, I mean, on the positive side for NIO, ironically, they're based in China where the economy has a lot more upside potential and they're better positioned. For example, the central bank can actually reduce the rates. That's kind of what they're doing over there, while ours is hiking ours and promising more pain for American citizens here. So NIO's really well positioned in those regards. I don't know how many people are truly recognizing it, especially when I see comments like that where they're talking about bankruptcy when the company has billions and billions on the balance sheet. King Pop says Musk isn't a big fan of Bitcoin. He should just create a new coin. You are right. That's what I just said, Doge. That's funny. Twitter will be one big app to rule them all. Blue Sky, what's up, Jalen Brown fan? Tom, what's up? It's Mr. Dimes. I see you. Did you see my comment, Tom? Chad Billy says Dorsey's a big fan of Bitcoin. That's his life agenda. Yeah, must not Dorsey laugh out loud. And Tom Watcher, Minister Belk, what's up, Eddie? How you doing, buddy? Glad to see you. I had one of the funniest comments. I loved it. It was from a user, Positive Vibes, and he had said in a different video, said, "Oh, this guy's always smiling. I'm kind of tired of it." And then somebody else was like, "That's kind of ironic with your name, Positive Vibes." And I was laughing. I'm like, "Man, it's all good. I'm not worried about it." But I will say it's important, and that's kind of why I came up with this thumbnail that I'm going to use for these lives some of the time. It's about just chilling and being positive and upbeat. And, I came back to the world after being locked up and just with the real sense of gratitude and humility and being happy. And so I smile and I'll wave at random strangers. I don't mind, I'll do that. And I get a lot of weird looks sometimes, but it just further validates for me that people need that positive, like that encouraging, a legit, like authentic smile, like, hey, it's good to be seen. It's good to see you, even if you're a random stranger. So it's funny, the Positive Vibes stopped through and was like, your smile is actually growing on me, blah, blah, blah. And I was laughing, kind of giving him crap, but it's important, to have that balance. And, up, down, life is going to throw crazy stuff at all of us. And so, positive attitude is one thing that I can do, that I can bring every day. So I try. All right. Back to sorry for my little rant. I'm back to the chat now. Eddie says, Mr. Bellick says, buying more My 965 shares need about 500 more and I will be good. Love it. Love it. I'm kind of like, man, is this thing going to take off? Is NIO going to, I mean, we're still in a price range where I can still bring my average down. And I'm hoping, I just want to get to my goal and baby steps, I'm going to get there. And it'll feel good when I'm there. But Fakey says, are you worried that Elon will block 50% or more NIO articles on Twitter? I don't trust him with Twitter. I've been low key dropping little things and joking about stuff like that. I don't think he'll block Twitter stuff. I think if he does anything that would be unfair, and not that we could prove even if he does it, I think it would be to promote Tesla stuff or keep like the anti-Tesla, the bad FSD testing and stuff like that makes Tesla look bad. I could see maybe that being sort of censored more, I guess. But I don't know that he would necessarily go after NIO in that way. I don't think, I think I'm giving him appropriate, and I try and give people the benefit of the doubt. But again, I think he would be more partial to the Tesla side of things, wanting to protect that brand. What do we got? Frank says NIO is nearing its high for the day. Love it. Let me look. I want to look at the chart real quick. 1156. Yeah, I was kind of wondering and watching. What about the last? What's our 1 month look like? Yeah, we've got plenty of gain to regain. But again, the short-term stuff for me, it just remains. It's all about what's big money doing. Where are they going to push it today? That's kind of the way I look at it. I don't, until we start seeing a trend. We get this 100 million plus trade volume in shares. For all of November. That'll be a real positive that we've got a new trend, or we're coming back, to the trend. That'll be nice. But I still, again, backdrop of the U.S. market that I don't trust. I don't think has bottomed out. So when or if that does bottom, where is NIO? How does NIO hold up? Is it going to be moving on its own? I hope so. But yeah. And the community is just fun. This community is awesome. I can't wait to expand. I'm going to find a way to expand and get more Chinese folks on the NIO train. NIO roller coaster is maybe what we need to be calling it. And what I mean is within the community, access to us here and stuff like that. So I'm working on it. Montague, what's up? Says, A-Rod, how is NIO going to report their lease vehicle numbers? Thanks. They gave a reference about it. The subscription ones are going to be held as assets, but they will not be counted as new deliveries. So, and it will probably, maybe on the earnings call, they'll be asked or give some explanation of that. But if not, I bet Marcel will break it down very nicely for us because he's kind of the GOAT. That's just what it is. King Pop says Elon won't block NIO. He even congratulated NIO in the past, and he has to please the C. Well, he does want to not upset them. I mean, the reality is China has done so much for Tesla, and it's just business sense is business sense, and I do think that Elon has that, but I do think that if he's going to do something one way or another, I think it's protect Tesla on Twitter. Vicky cracking me up says, "Don't wave to Tesla drivers, please." You know what? I got a buddy. I need to go check out his Tesla because he's got one and it's a good looking one. Sometimes I see him and I'm like, I wouldn't pay for that. But some of them look really clean, really good. So I gotta check in with my buddy anyway. Let's scope out his Tesla and see what's up. Fish, what's up? Says, man, I was hoping for the stock price to stay below 10. This is so funny. We got people who are disappointed because they wanted to buy more. Oh, retail crowd. I love us. We're awesome. King Pop says 2023 will be interesting with NIO ET3 phone launch and maybe sub-brand launch. Yeah, how about this? Anybody been thinking about lately that they're going to have the NIO autonomous drive released at some point and the solid state hybrid battery? They've got so many things happening that we can't keep up and even forget about some of these things, I think. Charles says, Mr. Smiley, keep positive, brother. I bought more today. Stay strong. $35 before December 31st, 2022. Ooh, let's go. I hope you're right. Actually, I hope you're wrong and it goes further. What? Nico says, I was planning to reach 1,000 shares in 2020. Eventually, I recently reached 2,500 shares and stopped buying, but stock is still so cheap. uh, Satoshi, what's up? Says we're going to the moon. Let's go. Jeff, what's up? Neo San Fran in the house. By the way, Seth and I talked right before the stream. He couldn't make it today, but he wanted to make sure I told everybody what's up, and he'll be back before you know it. And he misses everybody. So shout out from Seth, Mustache Seth. Um, maybe he shaved, and that's why we're seeing this price action. There's the real reason we might be seeing this upward momentum. Forget the 100 million shares, like that makes a difference. The trade volume. Uh, King Pop says Nico's buy more while cheap. Nico says I was playing. Nope, I already read that. So I'm catching up again. I think I won't resist. You're right. Jeff holding strong. Yeah, I'm so curious where we're going to finish the day. We got 16 minutes of the trade day left, according to my 11:55. You know what? And it's especially on a day where there's a lot of stuff going on throughout the market, and then also a lot of trade volume happening. The trade volume really was well sustained. There was a lot early, but there was some more throughout the day. There's been a lot of action, and toward the end of the day, if it doesn't drop off, fall off, and the price stays up, that's a nice setup for Monday. Maybe if we can keep it going, knock on wood, knocking. Jakes, what's up? It says if it's real, next Friday we'll be at $14. Ooh, I love the call. You know what? I'm gonna pin it. Wait, no, I see. It's a mustache comment. I'm gonna have to pin that one. But Jakes, we're coming back to this, buddy. We're revisiting this next Friday. We'll be at $14 if it's real. If it's at 11 or below, it's BS. Woo! And Jakes, does that include the midterms? Are you factoring that in? Oh, we got earnings too. Whew, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe they offset each other. I don't know. Talk to me. What do you think, Jakes? I like where your head's at, though. Calling the levels. Emiliano says, don't forget, we wait for NIO to open the subscription for autonomous driving. Yep. No new info yet. Hopefully an earnings call. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So much going on. King Pop says only $14 would be lame. Hope or give good, very good guidance. Well, unless I think he's calling levels though. Jakes is in this, like he stays trading. So Jake says I sold 20 puts at 11 for today. It will close just over 11.50. I sold 20 calls at 11 for today. Wow. Jake's getting it. Let's go. Doug says, any research you've done about the share count? Thought we would have many shares being transferred to Hong Kong. No, Douglas, that's going to be really hard because even all we'll get access to is whatever the total float is. But I can do everything except guarantee because I can't prove with any, certainty that there are fake shares that are out there, but we wouldn't have fails to deliver. I don't think if there weren't fake shares, and I haven't looked at that chart lately, but it's just part of the business. I just consider it part of the business. And it's one of the things that long-term, I don't think it, I don't even go down that track. I can go all the way off left in that direction. I'm not expecting any change or any clarity on the share count, Douglas. So, and that's why I've stopped kind of watching it and monitoring it. Hockey Black, what's up? Says, let's go. Ron, welcome. Thanks for stopping through. And that's the one. I got to pin this because it's a Seth mustache. Wait, I was going to do the wrong thing. There we go. That's what I want. He says, laugh out loud, mustache off, NIO rises. That's right, Seth. We're dedicating this stream for you and your mustache in case you shaved, and that's the real reason NIO stock is going up. Jake says, sorry, 1150. So I'll have those called away today. Pretty sure I'll get them back with puts next week. Optimo says we are going the moon via Ireland, and I will be having a good time soon. Thanks for all good work as usual. Good for you. Let's go Ireland. My parents visited there. I want to go there. I got ancestors over there. Let's go. Look at the Irish. OG says, I need NIO to touch 100 a share by 2024. Hey, speaking into existence, I don't think anybody here will be upset if that happens. We're riding. Let's go. NIO roller coaster. Frank says, waiting for the NIO phone to come out. That too, man, they're doing so much. It's crazy. CJF says, I cannot wait to see earnings. If the margins are higher, the stock will go much higher. I'm real curious. Man, the backdrop of the market and big money flow. That's so key for the short term stuff. And today I just couldn't help, of course, the articles are, filtering out about PCAOB maybe being done and, oh, there are no issues, shocker, with the companies over there. And they're not going to be delisted and they're actually fine. And so then we've got yesterday and today some stock price action, positive upward momentum, a lot of share volume traded. Is it an indicator of big money going back? I don't know. With things opening up even slowly in China, even with the lockdowns in the third quarter, they still had some pretty good numbers. And so they're going to want to finish the year strong. Um, so it just makes sense. And I see Ben Lay talking about it. So I'll get to those in a second here. Um, King Pop says you could try emailing the head of NIO autonomous driving. Laugh out loud. His emails online. you know, I've reached out to NIO folks a few times, and I'm pretty sure all my stuff just gets filtered into the trash. It's just trash, just right. It's all good. Vicky says Germany and China had a meeting. Yes, and it went very well. Germany was positive with China for the future, and they are ready to talk and solve things to work together. Was today on the European news. Yeah, and Marcel, shout out again, the GOAT. Marcel was talking about and tweeting about this. And look, the positioning in Germany is intentional by both China, but also by NIO with the branding and the positioning and wanting to really focus on that market where BMW, Audi, Mercedes come from. So it's going to be fun to see how things progress. Tyler, what's up? Says about 6 months ago, you had a trader say NIO would hit $8. Sure enough, we almost hit $8. Who was that? And let's get his input again. No, love the input. Great channel. Tyler, what's up? It's been so bizarre. And like I said, I have no idea, what we will see from NIO. I do think we've got more volatility and more downward issues for the US market, but I don't know if the money flow for big funds goes back over to China or not. I don't know. Vinlay says China's opening, guys. Time to make money on all Chinese stocks. Better by now. I loaded up 5,000 shares today, and printed twice, but so I'll just read it once. But yeah, that is kind of the opening up is going to be fascinating to watch. I still think they're going to have issues, and they're going to be they're still going to be doing some lockdowns, but I think there comes a point where it's not sustainable, and they have to know that. They have to see that. And I had heard or read somewhere that government was still able to get their money or their revenue, income, paychecks, whatever, kind of like what they were doing here in the US, where they're locking things down, telling people, hey, you're not allowed to work and earn a living, but we're going to go ahead and keep collecting our money. That's a problem. And that is absolutely unsustainable. And the people will not stand for that in a longer period, over the longer term. That will not happen. So I hope that people are okay. Souls are the most important thing. So I hope everybody's safe, doing well over there with even the longer term shutdowns that have been going on. Checking on the stock price right now as I talk. 11.57. Let's go, NIO. And we're 8 minutes away from close. And time to relax and focus is, yeah, also remembers that. Yeah, somebody calling $8 on NIO as well, just not the name. Well, in the comments on videos and live streams in different places, I've had a few people actually call for it or say that they thought it was going to happen. And, it's one of those things where it's how big picture do you go and how much stuff do you factor in? That's where the points at which NIO was trading with the markets versus the times when it wasn't, and all of the shorting. And it's just, this is such an interesting time to be alive and looking at the market, and also looking at how things are shifting and changing even as we go. And it's just, there's so much stuff to try to process from on the research side. It makes it hard for me to justify doing videos sometimes because I'm like, man, I gotta keep studying. um, but let's see, let me get caught up here. Fluffy Fluff says, "Oh, I'm late." Frank says, "Neo just hit a new day high." What's up, Fluff? King Pop says, "Mr. P called for $8." Yeah, a few people did a long time ago, early summer, spring. I think it was Morrow was calling for it with Elliott Waves. He's big into that. Uh, Vidya Cigar says, Carvana 360 peak to $8. Neo San Fran Jeff says, "Great to see green again." Yeah, I want to see if this continues next week. But it feels like a good, strong close for the day with a lot of volume, and that seems positive. It's one day, really 2 days. We had good volume and some upward momentum yesterday too, I think. But Adrian says, Phase D. Oh, I just lost it. Hold up. Phase D coming $20 can be incoming. Neo continues to disappoint in delivery. Still waiting on that 20,000 delivery a month. Yeah. Uh, I'll be real curious if if the big money will be back in when that happens or not, if they're going to trail or if they're going to be ahead on that stuff, or if they're going to be more on point and in line with whatever PCAOB is doing and that sort of thing, or China opening up and that kind of thing. China's just so massive. It's such an enormous place, and the economy is massive as long as they're open. Chester says, Trace, joking. Keep your head up, Aaron. Thanks for it all. Chat from Ohio. What's up? And it's funny, actually, in this description on this live stream, because sometimes I'll just be like, not financial advice, or what do I say? I put not an attorney, not a financial advisor. I'm a basketball and research or something like that. And so in today's, I think I put something like, not an attorney, not a financial advisor, but I shot 60% from, in my 3-point drills yesterday or something like that. I might do more of that stuff just to have fun. I want to sprinkle in a little more comedy, a little more humor. We need it. We need it in the world today. And I did it a few testers on Twitter too, but then I removed them. So, cause I was like, I'm just feeling things out, trying to get, used to things a little bit. King Pop said, but he also called it will go up. So he's going to say he called it regardless. And that's kind of what Morrow did too. Morrow never actually changed his bearish to $8 range call, but then he started showing charts with Neo showing it bullish and why it was going to go up. And I was like, well, that's kind of convenient because now you get to say you were right because you called it both ways. And it's all good. I get it. I'm not going to do that. That's just me though. I'd rather keep studying and trying to learn about, like, are we seeing the beginning of a new trend right now, today? Is this the beginning of a new trend and money flowing back into NIO and Chinese stocks? This is going to be interesting to monitor. So, because I think that ultimately will indicate more upward movement for the stock price if that is in play. And then now also watching to see if, for example, once big money gets their position, if I see big money come out with a positive news article on China or NIO, automatically I'm like, okay, does that mean they bought and they've got their position? So they're ready to let some FOMO kick in and tell other like retail investors, hey, y'all can buy now. That's what I feel like. Call me crazy. I've been called worse. I think he says 1160. Wow. Let me look. Let me see it. How about 1166? Did y'all see that? Let's go. That's not a bad day. It's just one day, baby steps. We need a few years of these days and then some more. Time to relax and focus says we should have all loaded up at 850 or so. Low is 838. Well, it's so difficult. Even if you have the discipline and the awareness and the levels and the money, that's a lot to have in play to try to pick the bottom. And let's not forget, we might not have seen the bottom in the market. And does that mean that NIO's done? I don't know. That's what I'm waiting to find out, and I'm gonna be watching. Fluffing says NIO is doing its typical power hour move now. It's nice to not see it falling off. It's nice to see it holding today throughout the day, good, strong volume. And now the question is, does this carry over? Will we see this all of next week? If so, I feel pretty good about this being a new trend and big money coming back. Vidya Cigar says, I'm expecting 17,000 deliveries if China gets rid of the sickness lockdowns. Yeah, I'm gonna just call for a new record. November, new record. That's it. I'm not gonna give a number. I'm gonna let NIO give it, but I'll still report on when we see the numbers come in weekly. So there'll still be content there, and we can kind of track that. Watch, we'll probably have a monster first week in November with a lot of the stuff that was backlogged. They couldn't get delivered. That would be a really nice, strong beginning to the month. Although some people will maybe get too excited and then try to extrapolate that out and go, oh, that times 4 is going to be our number. And it might not be that strong every week. I'm just saying, let's just keeping it conservative here. Srinas says we were at the end of the rope. Let me pull this up. I want to see this. 1169. Wow. Let's go. I want to go further out. Look at the 6 month. How about the year to date? Okay. I like to go bigger picture to get more context for where we could go. Did we just close at 1170 roughly? 1168? Sure looks like it. And I'll keep the 5-day up. I was wondering that 122 million shares. Okay. Well, let's see if we get a week like that next week, just to keep it moving. Let's go. Fluffing says even a broken clock is correct twice a day. Don't believe anyone who claims they can predict the market. Satoshi says I loaded up at 870, but stopped loading because of deliveries. Fluffing says can't wait to read the article from Motley Fool on why the NIO why NIO's up. NIO went up because Mars and Jupiter aligned. It is funny. The fun fact: anybody who didn't catch it, I didn't even read that Bloomberg article, and then I did my video yesterday, and I was talking about because somebody asked me if I thought there was another 7,000 potential, and I'm like, well, if we look at what NIO has done, yeah, whenever they do double shift, it's possible for sure. And that's kind of what I was mired in, but I hadn't read the article. And then I saw later sort of a re-encapsulation of the article, and they were kind of saying that it was 5,000 deliveries they think they could have done. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's whatever, but that just shows I don't go to Bloomberg for my research. I just kind of watch and then say, all right, let me track a little more data before I take this too seriously. Chester says if it holds up on a Friday, it's a good thing. I think day traders hate holding over weekend, and most retail swing traders too. Jacob says, "Sorry, boys, I was late. Have to work today. No worries, Jacob. I'm just glad people can get stopped through and say, hey, 1169 for the close, 1168. Yeah, we'll take it. What about after hours? Are they still buying in the dark pools? 1172. All right, could be." And Josh says RIP shorts. Yeah, I wanted to do a little is it a meme, a GIF, something on Twitter for like the shorts, but I still think it's too soon. It's too soon, because remember when NIO had its really, really big run, it actually started before I even heard of the company or the stock. And so that started in like March of 2020, and it went for about 9 months, and shorts got torched. So I don't, I'm kind of just sitting back watching, and I'm going to enjoy when it runs, and I'm going to enjoy being able to buy cheap if it stays cheap. So either way, I win. I think he says FY NIO is today number 3 most active on Yahoo Finance list. Let's go. It'll be, I still think some folks are going to consider NIO to be a meme stock. And so if the memes take off and do something, which I won't be surprised if they do, we could see some of that action too. But I also think some investors, and I've heard of a few who are in like AMC or GameStop or different, some of kind of the original or the earlier, I think GameStop was the original in this modern, 2020 timeframe of the memes, the meme theme. And some of those folks are looking to swing over or move some over to NIO once they get their gains. Once Moas. Neo Sanfran says, I'm getting a ton of info from LinkedIn. Nice. I had a feeling that you were on that. I was seeing more of those shares, more of those offered with your tweets. So doesn't surprise me. That's cool. That's good. That is something I noticed. I think that's more of a globally accepted professional sort of platform ish for like folks in China. I think it's maybe more reputable or considered maybe more neutral than some others. So maybe there would be more exposure there globally with less of the narratives one way or another. And Jeff says, been to China 3 times. It's hard to grasp the absolute massive infrastructure. I absolutely believe it. I have only seen photos and pictures and done what little research I can from here in the Midwest US. And it is, I'm sure, not the same, but I'm just blown away. And what was crazy is being gone from the world, locked up, coming back to the US and going, wow, things changed a lot. And then as I started digging into NIO and what was going on in China, I was like, okay, wow. Like it was another level of tech and advanced infrastructure and like the speed with which they get things done. I mean, NIO Park, first phase. I understand some people are still frustrated. We're hung up on why don't we have this delivery record? At the same time, a year and a half ago, there was no NIO Park, right? Now they're putting out the ET5 from this new factory and they're working on the sub brand is going to come out of the second phase, which they're working and hoping to get like operational in 2023. That's crazy speed. And so, what happens in the meantime? That's one of the things I'm wondering. Are there other China like premium players who are going to take some of the segment if NIO can't ramp faster? I don't think so. I'll keep an eye on it, but I still think NIO is really well positioned. So what else we got? Jacob says, explain the dark pool. Dark pool, the original idea with the dark pools was, let's say we work for JP Morgan, right? Huge bank, monster bank, does massive moves, puts a lot of money in to buy. If we're going long on NIO, let's say we want to go long on NIO and we want to buy, 10 million shares. If we make that move and do it on the regular exchange, that's going to absolutely affect price immediately. And everyone's going to see it. And anybody who's tracking what we're doing is going to see, oh, they just, JP Morgan just made this massive move. So we're going to follow them. So I believe the original reason behind the dark pools was so that big money players like that, the funds, the institutions like that, could quietly make their moves without disrupting the market too much, if that makes sense. I think the intent was originally that was a beneficial tool for the market. But what can happen from dark pools is because they're off exchange, and the name dark pool makes it sound like it's all negative and bad, but it's really just off exchange, meaning we can't track it real time. We can't just see what's going on. And so, for example, if there's a big money move, and oftentimes there are big money moves made there, all we can do, even if we're able to track it, and there are certain places you can track it. Like I think Charles Schwab has a Street Smart Edge platform, or there's a special way you can kind of monitor the big moves and plays that are made, but you still can't see exactly what's going on. So for example, you might see this huge volume put in for NIO at $11, but then you still kind of have to see, all right, is it going to go up after that or down after that? Because probably the direction it goes after that is the way the move was made. Right. So it's kind of just a matter of following that if you're in that mode. But even if you're in that mode, like you still can't get all of the actual information. So the dark pool is just a place where big money can do off exchange so that they're not, messing with the markets so everyone can see it when it's happening, if that makes sense. The problem is then if you've got somebody who's working for a big firm and is willing to break the law and do things illegally within the dark pool, no one's tracking that. No one's really watching it. And unless the regulators actually do something about it, they can manipulate price action pretty heavily by doing it. And so that's one of the issues and one of the challenges with why we end up with some of the short squeezes happening is the dark pools are a method through which some of those funds can manipulate. But it's really just off exchange trading that big money can utilize and often does utilize, so that they're not, obviously, impacting the market in a positive or negative way. So I hope that kind of explains it. It's easy to get off on a tangent. There's so much to it, and because we still can't just like watch it real time, even if you are watching, you still can't see everything. And for me, that drives me nuts when I can't get all the data. I want to get as much data as I can. Fluffing says to Jeff, most people from the West know nothing about China. A friend of mine asked me if he could buy food in China or if there's taxis. I'm like, yeah, they don't ride horses anymore. It's true. The locals in China can't even find their way around because they build so quickly. It is it's so night and day, I think. I have a family member who went over and was in Shenzhen, and so I was talking to her about it, and I just from what I see, I'm just kind of like, wow, it's incredible. Looking at like the picture of Shanghai from the 1990s to today, how different it is. Frank says, when are you going to have a live stream with Freedom Mike? I need to do one. My original live stream, no, yeah, it was a live stream. It was videos. The original videos I did collabing was with the stock dudes. It was with both Chad and Mike. And so we'll definitely bring it back. I saw, and I still haven't been over. I meant to get over to Mike's channel and stop by one of his videos. I haven't done it yet because I cannot keep up. There's so much going on. It's crazy. But yeah, it'll happen. It's definitely going to happen. I got some other things I'm working on. I'm working on a lot of things, actually. I'm trying to get my life together, first of all. R. Miller, what's up? Says 122 million, excuse me, 610,067 shares traded today. Let's go. And Math Guy says, are we buying more? Were you already buying today, Math Guy? I wonder. Frank says, I'm buying more next week. I am really, really, really curious what will happen next week. It should be a wild and wacky one. Listen, we've got the question of whether this is big money getting back into NIO. And if so, we'll see more of that next week. And also, we've got the midterms. Little drama here in the US. There's going to be drama because that's how they do it with the political stuff here. It's crazy. And then we've also got a little thing called NIO earnings. Whew. Let's go. It's going to be a fun week and a wild one. So yeah, I got to look at the dates and try and make sure I can go live at least a couple days because I got to do the earnings and I got to do Friday. And thoughts, does anyone have a suggestion? Is there a particular day that people prefer? I know the one day things were crazy and it was like a Wednesday and there was a lot of action, a lot of activity, a lot of people jumped on, but I'm wondering also if maybe Monday would be a good day. Here's what I don't want to do. I don't want to compete with people who are good and have a live stream going and that sort of thing. But I also want to do more, I want to be more interactive like this. It's fun to be able to do this. And Frank says, oh no, Math Guy says, I'm selling them puts. Okay. Frank says deliveries from November should be around 19,000. Look, I'm just calling new record. That's all I'm calling. I'm going to let NIO do the number. Cutie Pie, what's up? Welcome. Glad you stopped through. It was a wild day today. Whew. Daniel says chickeny chicken, the Chinese chicken have a drumstick in your brain starts clicking. King Pop says, lower 866 sales has one positive effect for earnings, and that is allowing a higher average vehicle margin percentage since 866 lowers the average. Frank says November 10th on earnings day. And yes, oh yeah, and now that you mentioned the 866 sales, the reduced times sure seem to indicate, and I'm talking about the times from the NIO app, that it appears people are able to get their deliveries faster. And that being the case, that sure seems to indicate what we've been waiting for, watching for, and hoping for, which is that ramp up. And big delivery numbers, knock on wood, are coming with a new record in November. Jay Cutler, what's up? NIO, let's go. Nadal says, so my 15,000 delivery guess was accurate, but without the CVID shutdown, you might have been on point, Nadal, for sure. 100. So you'll have to come back and give us your prediction, because I'm not going to do a prediction. I'm just saying new record. I'm calling it new record November. Let's go. That's what November has become now for NIO. It's new record November for NIO. Boom. Frank says live stream. Yeah, no, I'm definitely doing a live stream on the earnings. You bet I will be here. Daniel says every day. Jay Cutler, what's up? Jay Cutler. You still playing football, Jay? Everyday live stream. Maybe one day. I'm not ready for it. I'm definitely not ready for it. Douglas says we don't hear that much about hiring in the US anymore. Yeah, the sad thing is companies are laying off in the US. A lot of companies are laying off workers. And again, that's a nod to the fundamentals and the positioning of NIO, who they're adding. They're only increasing and building out infrastructure. And wow, it's boom. Big things happening and on the way. I believe it. King Pop says 7 a.m. New York time for earnings. 7 a.m. Does that mean 6 for me? It might be. Yeah, it might be 6 for me. 8 for me, I hope. No, they're ahead of me. I think it's 6 for me. Whew. All right, maybe I'll just make it a morning, like a full-on morning. Jay Cutler says, I sold my 3-year-old son Jackson's gallbladder on the dark web for NIO stock. Is Jackson okay? That's my question. I mean, no medical advice given here, by the way, people, in case you're wondering. King Pop says lots of useless Twitter workers getting fired. I mean, then I saw the number. Somebody said something about, and I totally wanted to drop this. This is the Aaron humor that sometimes wants to come out. I saw somebody make a comment about, or a tweet about that Facebook or Meta has like 83,000 employees, and somebody else was like, that's crazy. And I'm like, well, not if you need that many to spy on everybody. I got jokes. Except I'm serious, but I'm joking. Which is it? Sorry, I couldn't resist. I had to go there with the Twitter worker firing action. NIO is coming to the USA 2025. That's from Frank. Unless it's sooner. I hope it's sooner. We'll see. Fluffing says, problem with most Chinese CEOs is that most of them have zero emotional intelligence. They get stuck in the work hard, quietly mindset, which is not a bad thing, but the market doesn't like it. Yeah. I will say the single biggest miss that I think retail investors have with Mr. EQ, and I see Mr. EQ in the chat, is that he has given us a couple of examples 2 different times. Once he specifically referenced 2030. That's his vision, long-term, truly long-term. But that also means, I mean, he's obviously pushing the team, and they're obviously expanding and doing an incredible infrastructure build out and expansion. So he is looking at that longer-term lens, but he's also pushing to get to that point. So I think that that's the biggest miss that most people have, is they're not recognizing that he is building and pushing toward that as the goal. And if that value actually comes in the way we're thinking, oh man, it's going to be big time. Mystery Q says, happy smiling weekend to all of you. That's awesome. Yeah, for sure. Thomas says, our earnings Monday. Sorry, just tuned in. No, you're good. They're going to be, I think Thursday is what people are saying. I need to look again, but it'll be later in the week. No worries. And I'll do a live of it. I think Marcel probably will too. Frank, I saw that Trump is running for president in 2024, and he was for sure going to fly now. It was in the news today. I did see that, and I thought he's going to announce it the 14th or something. And I'm like, oh man, let's just add to the political drama here in the U.S. It's so wild. I can't. I just sit back and shake my head. It's so wild. Douglas says Electric Viking was just very negative about NIO, saying too many models. Yeah, I remember I felt like it took him a long time to even hear about NIO when he was doing videos. And he was talking about lots of other things and lots of other companies that, frankly, I wasn't that impressed with. And then he started talking about NIO, and I just didn't feel like he had a good sense or familiarity, I should say, with the company. And that continues to be in play for me with him. I don't think that's changed. So I don't think he's familiar. I think he's very disconnected. And So we'll see. I think it's one of those things where I'll be curious if once NIO establishes itself in Europe, maybe he'll go, oh wow, okay, all right, yeah, now I'm getting bullish. You know what I mean? It might be one of those deals. So that's what I'll be watching for. Fluffing says, Mr. Q, thanks you too. Yeah, I love it. NIO community showing love. King Pop says William Lee said plan originally was for late 2025 for USA, but things got complicated, probably in regard to Wandering Joe. The subsidy requirements requiring made in USA with unions and using American batteries. Yeah, it's just another thing to work around, and so I'll be curious what they do. And that may be why they were looking for that position we talked about last week on the live, where they had that posting for DC, a contact in DC who can kind of work with regulators and make sure, because basically it doesn't make sense to come in here unless you know you're going to be able to really be on point with all the regulations and all the check marks and stuff. Um, Jay Cutler, no, I can't say that. I'm not going to say that. King Pop says, I think Electric Viking even said William Lee needs to go out and that he exited his NIO position or something. Oh man. Did he really, Douglas? Oh man, he is clueless. Oh, I shouldn't say that live. Sorry. That was that brutal honesty out of Aaron. I know but here, I'll put it this way. Electric Viking, please look up Original Wash, I believe, Limited, and see who the owner is, and then maybe correct yourself if you send in William Lee sold NIO. I think he's the biggest shareholder actually out there. Frank says, when is NIO going to become profitable? Well, I think it'll come with a certain uptick on deliveries. And I believe, is it Citic Securities? One of the analysts actually ran and did kind of a mock-up of the deliveries and said, well, they need, this number for a quarter deliveries to get there. But what Mr. EQ has said is that he plans on 2024. But again, it depends. Yeah. And that's King Pop saying NIO was hoping to have first profitable quarter 2024, or maybe late 2023. But again, it's going to come back to the delivery numbers and of course the margins and where they're at. But I will try to remember and look up, because I don't know if it was Citic or a different analyst who had talked about that and actually gave some numbers on, basically, hey, this is what it's going to take for NIO to get to profitability. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm glad somebody's kind of tracking that and looking ahead. Although it obviously could change based on margins and average sales price and stuff like that. So, but that big delivery uptick, and that's why, again, by end of year, if we see that 20,000 plus number in range, and that's what we get all of 2023, that makes a big difference, and puts them, well on the way. Nico says Electric Viking was saying that he preferred Xiaoping over NIO. Ouch. Guy has acute interest in EVs, but he's absolutely not an investor. Yeah, I'm not going to tell him or anybody else what to do with their money. But I absolutely have never been more interested in XPeng over NIO. Even though I get why, because you know what, actually it kind of makes sense though, because Viking likes Tesla, right? And they've got that hype play. And Xiaopeng, that was something I said early on about them. They have a hype play for sure. But they're in the mass market, and Tesla's the early mover and BYD is crushing it. And there are more players. So that's a lot to have to deal with for XPeng or XPV. King Pop says, sorry for confusion. Electric Viking is saying William Lee needs to be removed from CEO position and that he, as in Electric Viking sold his NIO shares. Okay. Gotcha. Thanks for clarifying. I didn't know he had bought any NIO shares, but it's all good. I'm sure some of us will gladly buy them up or have already. Q-Pop says XPeng is ahead of NIO on self-driving and voice control software, but don't like their cars. I will say that we don't know that they're ahead because we don't know what NIO autonomous drive looks like yet. That's what I'll say. Because they've got some studs who've been working on that stuff. And I saw what they were doing with like Momenta and Frank says, I'm buying myself a NIO in 2025. Do you want one, Aaron? Do I? I just don't know how everything's going to play out, time frame wise. But yeah, it's going to be fun it's going to be fun to do that. One day when I grow up, I'm I don't know if I'm going to grow up, but if I grow up, we'll see. I'll price them out. We'll see what's up. Christmas 2025, Frank says. He's got it mapped out, planned out. I wonder, yeah, I don't know. I got to be patient. I got to rein myself in, not get ahead of myself. Fluffing says, I remember the Tesla expert on YouTube who predicted that NIO's swap station idea will collapse soon 2 years ago. Well, yeah, I don't, it's one of those things. How can I say? I don't understand why somebody who saw Tesla do so well um, doesn't see the potential for NIO. I would think they should be more open to seeing it and recognizing the advantages that Tesla got from being in China, for example, and being innovative and disruptive. That's kind of the point. I see the spam. Hold up. Got to get that out of here. Woo. Get them out of here. Woo, that was a close one. Did anyone find their love? No, I'm just kidding. But that's my thing. It always kind of throws me with the idea that they see something innovative and disruptive and win with it like a Tesla. And then they see another innovative, disruptive like a NIO and don't see it as winning. That's crazy for me. Chad Sheridan, we got a famous person here. What's up? Says just joining. What's up, Aaron? Hi, Daniel, as well. Daniel was just saying earlier he really misses you and wants to take you out for Chinese food. Glad to see you, Chad. What's your thought? Are you available, Chad, right now? Talk to me. What's going on? I'm going to do something here. Wait for it. Wait for it. Just in case. I don't know if Daniel's here. He might have had to leave or he might be working. I'm not sure. That's funny, Chad. Chad just joined to find his love. Frank says I'm down $40 a share on NIO and holding strong. And Chad says no. Sadly, the AC has decided. Okay, no worries, man. No worries. Yeah, air conditioning is important in Florida. That's for sure. I got you. We'll get you on a stream another time. I actually talked to Mike because I saw he's back and I haven't been over to his channel yet. I've been meaning to, but we got to run it back. We got to do the stock dudes and AA Ron because it'll be fun. And people were asking for it already. So we got to give the people what they want. And it's more NIO nerding out always. Fluffing says, by the way, for those of you who don't know, NIO has signed deals with the local government 2 years ago to develop a standard for all swapping stations going forward. Remember, it's all about infrastructure in China. That's absolutely it. And that's why I didn't care for all the noise that people were going on and on with because I saw that and I was like, okay, the government just validated that NIO is going to be providing part of the grid in China. And the other thing that a lot of people still are missing is Sinopec is state-owned. State Grid is state-owned. Sinopec has, 25 or 30,000 gas stations in China. They're state-owned. They're not going to go out of business, but they are going to pivot into this new energy vehicle space. And so them partnering with NIO is massive, just like State Grid partnering with NIO is massive on the power swap and the battery swap stations and all that they can do together. That's the energy play that I talk about. That I love it when people are like, what are you talking about, energy play? It's like, just wait for it. Wait for it. It's still early. And let me see. Stock dudes. It's Chad. Sorry, we had some infiltration of the special dating places. I had to cut them off, so that threw me off point there for a minute. And what else? Fluffy, yeah, did that. And Chad's down. Good old stock dude stream. You're darn right. Yeah, talk to Mike for real. And you guys let me know what works. Maybe we could do next Friday. Maybe. Fluffing, smiling. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're on it. You see the play there. And I'm just kind of like, that's fine. I can have my opinion. The Tesla experts or whomever can have their opinion about whether they like the battery swap, but the government already signed off on it. That's what it is. Like, that's their it's done deal there as far as I'm concerned. That was a couple years ago. So I was just kind of like, all right, let's see how they can build out infrastructure. They're almost to 1,200 battery swap stations in China. Whew, that's crazy. I mean, they just started the battery asset company like 2 years ago. Again, with the expansion in infrastructure, massive. How large is your stable? Hey, Ron. Are you talking about my shares? Not enough? Or is it something else? Maybe I missed the joke. I very possibly could have missed the joke too. Uh, Frank, well, yeah, people want the live stream. We got to do the live. Stock dudes, winning combination. Lego. Gary says, thanks, Aaron, for keeping positive. You usually keep me going on down days. Let's rock 18% today. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it. And I stay, yeah, I don't, I don't announce it all the time, but like I was in federal prison. I didn't know if my only child would die before I get to see her again. Like that's hard, this ups and downs of the stock market. Are you kidding me? Man, I could smile all day with the craziness of the market. That's nothing compared to what I've been through. So I understand why people who don't know me are like, all right, this dude's weird. He's always happy. Man, I've been blessed and I'm going to share it. I'm here to share it. And hopefully we'll win with NIO also. So, what do we got? All three NIO nerds. Caesar says, did NIO close a deal with China government to make city vehicles? Actually, there were some deal, or there were some. I've seen that NIO is providing police vehicles for some different cities, and there's sort of like a broker that does things. I think the vehicles that the Chinese government used to use were Audis, but now they're going to use NIOs, but they basically go through a broker on it as well, or to set that up. So I don't know if it's direct sales, if that makes sense. And I kind of thought it was going to be ET7s. I mean, if it's, for high up government officials, I would expect it to probably be the ET7, but maybe not. Charles, what's up, Charles? High school basketball buddy right here. Just stopped through the chat. Says, should I buy Scruff? What do you think? I think we have to be good stewards of our money, and you got to do what works for you. I know I can't get enough, but that's just me. And I have that problem. TLM, too little money. You already know the struggle. It's real. What's up, Charles? Are you working today? What's going on? Are you off? Talk to me. Are you on the chat? Are you live on the chat while you're working? Daniel, there he is. There's Daniel. Chad stopped through. I don't know if he's still here, but I'm glad we got Daniel laughing anyway. For those who don't know, a little inside joke. Daniel always gives Chad a lot of crap when Chad comes on the stream with me. And so we're teasing Daniel about it. Charles says, you should come and visit next week. I am on live while working. Oh man, you're so wild, dude. Out of control. I might. We'll see what's up. Yeah, we'll see what's happening. Depending on what I got going here. And there it is. There's Daniel and Notary. Daniel's gonna be famous for this, for giving Chad crap, and then they're besties. They're frenemies. I'm gonna call you guys frenemies. I feel like you're frenemies. Yeah. Am I that special, Charles? Scary stuff. I love the scruff comment though. That's because when in high school, I never used to like shaving, and everybody on the basketball team gave me a hard time. So what's up, Francisco? Welcome. Las Vegas. Let's go. Hey, how are you loving having the Raiders there? That'd be so cool. It's the Raiders. Serena says, swap stations will be busy and profitable when NIO vehicles go to used vehicle market, as NIO cars will not die just like that. Yeah, I absolutely think the ecosystem, the way that William Lee is building things, is with the idea of sort of enclosing as much as possible within the ecosystem so that they can get massive expansion, like even outside of the car market. So as Marcel has talked about, how NIO Life can be so huge. So that's awesome. I love it. I love people from all over. There's Daniel Chad. That's perfect. There you go. Daniel clowning on Daniel, actually calling Chad a clown, and Chad commenting, how he did hear from me. I'm the one who started the rumor that Daniel wants to go out for Chinese food with Chad. I wish I could see their faces right now. That would be, I would like to see each of them, their little screen and their response to me giving them crap like this. It's good fun. And yeah, for sure. Well, Chad says, yeah, Aaron Neal life will be huge. When Marcel started talking about, and okay, there's two things that I got to say. First is Marcel has been in the space in China doing business there. And he talked about how he didn't actually love Alibaba. But then he also said that he thought Neolife could be bigger than Alibaba. And I was like, whoa, I can't comprehend that yet. So let's wait and see. And Fluffy says, Chad and I had a heated discussion at his comment section before, but he took it like a real. Oh, man. Let's all just get along. Same team. Everybody, same team. Team humanity, right? It even goes beyond NIO. That's good stuff. King Pop says, I want Tesla to open up a gigafactory in Chad, Africa, so we can call it Giga Chad. I love it. This community is the best. Too much fun. Y'all got me on here for half an hour after the market has even closed. I'm just cracking up. It's good times. Got my old basketball buddy. By the way, Charles, I only shot about 60% from 3 in my drills yesterday. No bueno. All right. It's not okay. It's not acceptable. So I gotta focus, recalibrate, get back to it. So I don't even know if you're still here, Charles. Probably working. I mean, you're probably legit working, which is what you should be doing. Johnny says, because of you, I'm down 100,000 on NIO. Why? Because of me, Johnny. It's your money. Don't you make your own decisions with your money? You should be a good steward of your own money. And that means doing what works for you. Chad says, I don't know if y'all hate me or not, but it's solid entertainment either way. You're darn right. There's no financial or medical advice from me, but I will talk basketball. We'll have fun about that. Frank says, do you see NIO going green next week? I see going positive at the beginning of the week before earnings. I don't know, Frank. I go back to the short term. It's all about what big money's doing. You know, they control price action. So if we're seeing the beginning of a trend, I think we'll see it come out of the gates early in the week with, you know, big volume again and more upward trend. But we got to wait and see. So Daniel says, come to Seattle and I'll show you Chinatown. Oh, you're wild. Yeah, Francisco agrees. Chad, or Flopping says, Chad, no worries, bro. I still like your videos. Just trying to help you guys. I'm Chinese and I know a lot more. Okay. The Chinese insights here. And okay, Johnny, talk to me then. You say my average cost on NIO is $54. Come on, man. All right, so talk to me. Why did you buy? What about NIO did you like? And what was your goal? How long were you looking to hold? Let's talk. Let's get in it. Because asking myself questions always helps me get clarity with what I'm doing. So maybe asking yourself some of these questions will help you. If you didn't have clarity, it'll help you better know what you're trying to do. I don't know why you put that kind of money in if you didn't have a plan. And that's, again, why I'm asking you, like, what was your goal? How long were you looking to be in? And where did you think it will go? Where do you think it will go? What's the play for you? And I'm getting behind in chat. Montague says, A-Rod, do you know how to trade options? I'm not a big short-term guy. I've done a little bit, but I'm not short-term. Like, for me, it's like this. And I've been talking about it in the stream today. Short-term, the big money controls what happens. And even short-term for me is like a less than 3 or less than a 5-year time frame. At least 5 years is what I want to give something if I'm really looking at it as a longer term. And I have to be willing to go 10 years because as we've seen, the market can absolutely shift in a year or two. We're living that. So with that in mind, it just makes sense for me to recognize that long-term means I have to give as much time as I need. if that makes sense. So with that in mind, this short-term trading is a lot less attractive to me. I do some, but not a lot because I'm more confident in the research and what it means for the long term. Because time frames like we've had now, um, even with the stock price being beaten down and all that sort of thing, the company's not yet profitable. For one, that's a big thing that's hurting NIO. And there are a lot of other things people would argue, but generally the profitability, that's a big important point. And so in my mind is kind of on the short-term time frame, I have to see that profitability from the company before I have a real expectation of a significant upswing. And with that in mind, there's just more volatility. So a lot of reasons for me to not do the short-term stuff, I guess is what I'm saying. So even though I do some trading, but not a ton, and that's why. And now I'm getting behind even further. So let me see if I can catch up. So Frank, if we knew Warren Buffett, be shining our shoes now. Cutie Pie says NIO is up 17%. Yeah, it was a nice day. I want to see a bunch more like that. And I'm glad people are getting along in chat. And Charles says, I popped in earlier for a quick hello. Hopefully a good stream. Big Money wants to have Chinese stocks, loving NIO. Yeah, we'll see, and that's just it. Look, again, I'm not counting on this kind of move, but when the company was ready to go bankrupt, it was in the $2 range. And then it ran all the way to 60 something dollars. Now that was in a bull market. And so maybe we don't see that kind of price action again, but if big money goes and continues to go and flow into it, we could see a lot of ground retaken. So, but again, I'm long-term. I'm not counting on that short-term. Francisco says good things take time. Good things take time, and that's NIO. Agreed. Johnny says, for real, I follow you a long time. I put all my savings on NIO because of you. Average is 54. I'm down more than 90K. You said 100K before. Did today make a big difference? I'm curious. And let me see, Johnny, did you put anything else in here, or is it just kind of that same? Yeah, so you're just trying to. Yes, you're just trying to blame me for what you did with your money. Okay, and that's sad, but you still haven't answered any of my questions. What was your goal? Why did you buy? When were you looking to sell? Your money. You got to be a good steward with it. Have some clarity with what you're doing. No worries, Montague. I see you with the typo. I wasn't sure for a second. I was like, is that some sort of short-term trading strategy that I don't know about? Charles says, Mr. Smiley, normally at the end of your videos, you say something I think is Chinese. Oh, yeah, it is. What is it you say? It's xie, and that's my American accent. Xie means thank you. And it's XIE. XIE is kind of the American or the English. The pinyin is what they call it. I couldn't write it in the characters. I've got the characters behind me. But shishe. So usually what I do is I'll end the video and I'll go shishe, like a thank you. And so that's all that is. But it's one of the few Chinese terms that I know. So I need a lot of help with that and other things. Caesar says when NIO news comes earnings, then NIO price comes down. So this could be the last time to buy at the bottom. I have the short-term stuff, the only thing I'm expecting from the market overall is volatility. That's it. Chad says, see volume pop off at the end of the day. Yeah, we were talking about it. And where are we after hours? Is it? Yeah, it's hovering. Yeah, about where it closed. Yeah, it was an encouraging sign to see the end of the day. I'm real curious if we continue with heavy trade volume to go into next week. I'm wondering, is Johnny not going to answer my questions? I have a feeling he's not. I think that was just the blame game was what that was. Fluffing says, yeah, something Asian, but all good. Yeah, for sure. Looking at the last green bar, Chad's breaking it down. Sometimes I just want to sit back and watch chat. Is that okay? Can I do that for a minute? There it is. Fluffing. Yes. breaking it down, giving us the Chinese, the Mandarin characters also. Xie. And it's my, yeah. My accent is definitely American, but King Pop says Chinese people don't really do the two palm hand thing. Just FYI, more of a Thailand thing. Yeah. Yeah, no, I know that. I like doing it. I think it's a way for me to just kind of show respect in general. And it's kind of like the bowing thing and the levels of the bowing and that, right? Fish is back. We can continue. Let's see. And Montague says, Johnny Tran, A-Rod never said to buy NIO at the 50s. Yeah, it's true. I think that was just one, every once in a while I'll get one of those that comes in, and I'm not sure if, for all I know, it's somebody from another channel who doesn't like that I said they don't do research on NIO or something. But I mean, I want people to win. So if the person's legit, if their claim is legit, well, their claim's not legit. But if they're down, then why not ask themselves questions so they can get more clarity with what they're doing, whatever it is. Because that's the idea of becoming a better investor is, learning and growing and having lost a lot and a lot more than just money. You can learn so much from those losses. It's not fun. It's tough. But there's a real opportunity to gain longer term. So that's kind of the way I look at it. And let's see. Fluffing says we do. Well, for me, it's just in general, it's just trying to show respect. That's why I do it. I just instinctively do it. Yeah, no worries. I'm glad to share the little bit that I can. Frank says, my friend is down 1.4 milli. And when I ask him about it, he's like, wait 6 months and you will see where I stand then. You know what? This is someone with a view and a lens that is not short term. He understands, bigger picture thinking. And being down that kind of money, that's not small money. But again, it's, the lens of the investor and, the question, and Johnny, if you're real and if you're still here, if you don't have a risk tolerance for something, recognize that about yourself, or if you need to adjust time frames, whether it's with NIO or anything, frankly. Concept is the key, and that's just what it is. Francisco, sorry, I'm struggling to keep this to not lose my place. Francisco says, Johnny, you haven't lost until you sell. Also a good point. You're only losing time. That's all. Have patience. Time will come. But if you can't stand the heat, stay out of the kitchen then. And yeah, I don't want to be critical of someone if they really are legit and they really are down. At the same time, that's why I asked the questions, which were not responded to and not, answered. And that is, why'd you buy? What was your plan? How long were you looking to hold? Obviously, you were buying a company that wasn't yet profitable. Were you willing to wait for profitability? Does it make sense to wait for profitability either then or now if you hadn't thought about it? These are not hard questions, but they're kind of important questions if you're investing, whether it's NIO, real estate, anything. In olden times in China, you do a fist with this, but not two palms. Oh, yeah, I've seen that. Chad says, so Aaron, how many deliveries are you thinking for November? I actually decided I'm not going to give a number. I am just calling for a new record, and I'm going to let NIO lead the way. But I will share an offer when I see the registration numbers coming out, so that we can kind of track it. And I won't be surprised if we see a pretty big number the first week, including some of the ones that were not able to be delivered at the end of October. So I hope that won't get people's expectations that, like, if it's some huge number, I don't want everyone going, oh, we're going to see 20,000 this month. If that's too, I don't know if it's too soon, but I want NIO to let us know. I'm just going to go, new record. Let's go. And let's see. Charles says, I am down 2 more than anyone on the stream right now. I'm extremely confident in NIO and William Lee. Well, I'm not down 1.4 million, but still a lot. Not a flex, just sharing. Yeah, I know a couple of investors who are pretty, good size for retails. Investors are, yeah, they're big and they're not up, but they're also not deterred because they also recognize it as a long term play. And Johnny, I wish you well if you're still here, if you're real, if you're really down and that sort of thing. Um, let's see. Fluffing says they're going back and forth about China. Fluffing, what city are you in? If you don't mind me asking. I think I might have a new contact in Chengdu, so I'm excited about that. And Nick, for those who don't know, is my buddy who I follow on Twitter. He's in Chengdu, and he has some really good stuff. I don't know if he's been active on Twitter lately, but he posts some really good stuff when he's able to, when he's online. And Gary says, Neo, Aaron, and Chad, what better way to spend Friday afternoon? Love you all. Yeah, we'll try to get Chad on the stream and Mike on the stream next week, and maybe Seth will be here, and I'll just sit back and smile. I'll just be chilling. I'll be loving it. Is on stage. Yeah, they're still talking. It's funny. They're going back and forth about stuff. Oh, in the UK now. But are you originally from China? I'm just curious what city you're from, if you're from there, or like where you've been, or where you are most familiar, that sort of thing. Asian Fish says, AA Ron, do you have any contact in China living near the factory? I don't think I have anyone really close, no. But I'm trying to work on that. I've actually, there are a couple different ideas that I've had to try and get more access to people in China, really is what I want to do. And a way to sort of integrate within the streams, kind of open them up and expand. And that's one of the reasons I want to add in and maybe do a different time. For example, if I do like a morning stream, that would be evening in China. And so then if I can get to more viewers who are in China, I think that'll make for a lot more dialogue, a lot more opinion and view, and just I think it'll be a lot of fun also. And I think they'll enjoy seeing all these people over in the West who are excited about NIO. So I think it'll be a collaborative and positive thing. I'm looking forward to it, but I got a lot of work to do to get to that point. And let me see what I'm missing. When is NIO Day? I don't know if we have an announced date, and I also hope it won't be canceled or moved. Depends on lockdown status. That's something I'm kind of keeping an eye on. Chad says also bad news. AC mainboard is dead with good old supply shortages. They can't get one for like a week. Let's just hope that doesn't go longer with diesel. Knock on wood. Come on, let's go. We got to get it. Man, the US has changed a lot. It's crazy. We got to get it together. Charles says, Aaron called it 20,000 deliveries. Oh no. I am hopeful for a realistic 13 to 15K. Dream big, my NIO gang, NIO. Yeah, I'm absolutely not calling a number. I'm calling delivery record. That's it. But I hope you're right. Chat says, guess I am back in hurricane mode. Yeah, hey, listen, just I'm trying to think of, that we didn't have AC my first 5 years. I was locked out in the spot I was. And so trying to think, hit me up, Chad, if you need some suggestions on how to cool off. You probably won't want to do them. It's like putting ice on your back and trying to look when it's, 90 degrees at night and you're trying to sleep. That's tough. Hopefully you can keep it cooler than that in the house. Chad said, I'm hoping for a new record. Do I think there will be? Depends on when factories get back up to full capacity. Fish says, we can set up a camera to spy on car shipment out of the factory, or we can see it live stream. We got planning going on. Fluffing says, I'm originally from China, born in Chengdu. Okay. Still have family members and friends there. But family members moved to Guiyang and Beijing. How big is Guiyang? And am I saying it wrong? And I'm sorry if I am. 'Cause I know Beijing's big. And I know there are probably more multi-million population cities in China than I have any idea of. Now I kind of want to look that up. Now I'm curious. This is my nerdy research mode. There's always more to learn, always more to study and learn. Charles says, Aaron, did you see the interview Mr. P released with the proud owner of 22 NIOs? Yes, not a typo, 22. He's a good contact and a born Canadian too. Oh, no, I haven't seen it, but that's awesome. That's outstanding. Guiyang. Yeah, there it is. Okay, Guiyang, small city, only 5 million people. To give you an idea of context, in case you don't know, I was born in a small town in Nebraska of about 300 people. So that's pretty good size for me. And Chad's on it. He says China has 155 cities with more than 1 million people. Google, small city. Now, here's the real question. Have fact checkers checked that? Because I feel like we need fact checkers to know that no, I'm just kidding. Oh, man, wow. That's amazing. JW says up 1,000 euros just this week. Kind of huge for me as a student. Hey, good for you. That's awesome. I wish everybody could always win, like winning is fun. It's fun. But being down, taking our losses, it's molding, it's character building, it's tough. So that's awesome. We got a King Pop correcting my pronunciation. Guiyang. 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 Fluffing says 1 million people to us is like a big village. That's just another level of scale for me. Yeah. Concept. I can't head just exploding there. Gone. That's crazy. I do think I need to wrap the stream. Although we could definitely, I could hang out, like it's definitely a good time. And it was nice to see NIO have a lot of trade volume and move up. And let's hope that it's the beginning of a trend. We'll see what happens next week. And again, a midterm election craziness. Let's see what happens. Political drama here in the US. Oof, boy. And what else? Fluffing says, Chad says, Aaron, I thought the town I grew up in of like 30,000 people was small. Yeah, listen, talk about small. 300. And I think a percentage of the town moved, like left when my family moved. So yeah, like, because I was from a pretty big family. Fluffing says, or Charles says to Fluff, my Toronto is like an intersection when put to, yeah, for real. It's massive over there. They go big over there. Fluffing says, don't go here. It's Friday. Yeah, actually, that's the thing. I haven't had lunch and I need to run out. I got to go see somebody and get a couple of things done yet today. And that's before I work tonight. And try and get some things done for tomorrow and the weekend. So, it's just beginning for me. It actually never ends really. If I'm taking time off, it's generally like a few hours where I'll go to the gym or I'll, step away and, watch some football, basketball, something like that, and then come back. Let's see. Aaron, hit me up next time. I'll join. Like I said, I'm usually always free, but last couple times things came up. Yeah, no worries, Chad. And we'll get you on, and we'll get Mike on if we can, and let me know. Keep me posted on the AC situation. Hopefully, get it up, and you'll be back and online. I mean, you can still go online. You just get yourself a cold washcloth and some ice cold water, and you'll be good, man. I'm laughing, but I might do something like that if it was me. I'm crazy like that. Everybody's cracking up. So what was the push for the big jump today? Fish um, website posted helpful. Wait, did I see that? I don't know if I got that. Fish. Uh, is it Morty? Is this the analyst Morty? Did the analyst Morty, who has an overweight buy of $70 for NIO, did he just come into stream? I was cracking up when I saw that. Um, and I know, sorry, I kind of got lost here. Yeah, there's some news happening, but ultimately, my thought is real simple: big money, big money. Uh, Today looked like it was buying NIO, and so my question is for all of us: let's see next week if we have a new trend beginning and money flowing back into China, and if so, then we'll see kind of a continuation of this with the big volume and more upward momentum. And if not, and Jake said, watch for 14 if this is legit. He said, watch for 14. I love that he called out a level so we can have something to kind of keep an eye on. It keeps it light and fun. And we'll have earnings next week. We got midterms here in the US. It's going to be wacky and wild. Yeah, Morty the analyst with an overweight of $70 on NIO joining the chat, but I'm about to wrap it. So, hey, everybody, thanks and if you haven't subscribed, or I think maybe everybody subscribed. I don't know. Morty, have you subscribed? I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, let me wrap it, but I'm going to come back with more soon. There is more to cover than I possibly can, but I'm going to try and get some stuff out this weekend. And everybody stay safe. Have a great weekend, Elephant. I see you. Appreciate it. Shishay. Everybody, I'm going to keep doing it, whether I should or not. I like it. Shishay. And we'll see y'all again next time. Morty sub. You better be sub, Morty. See y'all later.